Greetings, fellow hunters. Well, a look at Supernatural Season 5 now continues on with The Curious Case of Dean Winchester. A woman is reading a tabloid newspaper when her husband rushes into the house and shoots up the stairs without acknowledging her. He is frantic as he rushes into the bathroom and stands in front of the mirror. He appears to be quite young, but watches his deep wrinkles form, his eyes cloud over and his hair grows thin. He stumbles backward into a glass cabinet and collapses. His wife races upstairs at the sound of shattering glass, throws open the door, and screams at what she sees. Posting as CDC agents, Sam and Dean arrive at the morgue to view the body. The medical examiner is expecting them and opens the morgue drawer to reveal an obviously elderly man, only she says that he is 25 years old. Having anticipated their disbelief, she tells them that she ran the DNA twice to confirm it's the same man, who, according to his records, was born April 3rd, 1984. Dean calls Bobby to confirm that he was right about this being a case. Bobby suggests that they check out any missing persons there might be in town to see if there is a connection. Dean asks, by the way, how Bobby's doing generally, clumsily trying to ask about his legs. Bobby realizes this, of course, and calls him an idiot before hanging up on him. They go to interview the wife of a missing man, Cliff Whitlow, and she shows them a photo of her husband. She tells him she knows something was wrong when he didn't come home last Tuesday, as he followed a pretty rigid routine. Dean searches for clues and discovers a receipt from Madame Leo's Golden Palace in the missing man's jacket. Dean has identified Cliff's favorite room at the palace and are about to pick the lock when they hear yelling from inside. They bust open the door, only to discover a fit young man in bed with two women. They think they've got the wrong room and are ready to leave when Sam recognizes the tattoo on his forearm from the photo Mrs. Whitlow showed them. He asks the man if he happens to know of anyone named Cliff Whitlow, and convincingly denies until Sam retrieves Cliff's wallet from beside the bed. Cliff begs him not to tell his wife, but Sam and Dean say they will unless he tells him how it is that he's so much younger now. Cliff reveals that he won a poker game at a bar against an Irish guy named Patrick. The boys slip out to search because of the number of bars in town with the time constraint. Dean brings the bartender 100 for directions to the poker game and is headed towards it and runs into Bobby, who arrived in town unannounced and already found the game. Dean asks him if he had stopped the game, and Bobby sheepishly admits that he played and lost 25 years. Dean angrily calls him an idiot. Bobby stares at his tone and tells him that they are his years to do with as he chooses. Back inside the bar, Patrick is demonstrating his ability to read people, and says he's a mind reader, no such thing, and a couple of marks of flirting with a woman. Dean interrupts and discreetly shows Patrick that he is armed, and he comes on quietly to a private room. He demands that the key which restore Bobby's 25 years and threatens him with a pistol. Patrick refuses to give the ears back and says that shooting will merely tickle him, that if Dean wants years he could play for them. Dean agrees to play, cashing out 25 years for Bobby up front. When Sam returns to the motel room, he is startled to discover an old man there. Dean. Bobby shows up after. Together they conclude that the poker chips are the key and they should steal 50 for Dean. Before they leave, a young woman comes from housekeeping and Dean tries to flirt with her. She compares to her grandfather and says that he's adorable, as Sam and Bobby are amused at Dean getting rejected. The three hunters are in Bobby's van shadowing Patrick when he gets hit by a convertible. The other car runs to find help and Patrick gets up and steals the car. They follow him to a luxury apartment high-rise. When he leaves, sneak in. The elevator's out of order, so Bobby can't come with them to the He Witch's apartment. Dean huffs and puffs his way up the stairs. The rather searchy apartment, Dean finds a safe that he describes as a dime store model piece of cake to break into. But his failing eyesight makes it impossible for Dean to crack it. Sam shows him aside and opens the safe, but the woman who was half the couple at the bar interrupts him and uses telekinesis to restrain the boys. Patrick interrupts her, saying that the Winchesters are harmless and explaining to them that the chips and incantations are just plywood and showmanship. It's 900-year-old witch power that's really at play, and the way to get years is to win them off of him. Dean's eager to go another round. Patrick regards him as old, easy prey, and he's not a murderer. But he says Sam's welcome to play. Dean orders Sam not to, so Patrick sends best wishes for Dean's twilight time and allows them to leave. As they go, he announces that Dean's already punished, but that Sam needs a parting gift. He stares at Sam and claps 3 times, but refuses to tell him why, saying that he'll find out soon enough. Exiting the building, Sam starts pulling his crotch. Dean realizes that he which gave him the clap, aka gonorrhea. Next day, Sam again says that he wants to play, and Dean and Bobby again says that he's not good enough. Bobby, the knowledge best player in the group, wants to try again, but Dean insists that he doesn't have enough years to spare. Bobby then bursts out that he's got no reason to keep living anyway, and that if he wasn't such a coward, he'd have killed himself the day he got home from the hospital. Dean and Sam are shocked. Sam declares that he will not allow Bobby to play again. There must be another way. He leaves intending to find it. When Dean and Bobby return to the motel room, Patrick's girlfriend Leah is waiting for them. She gives them instructions for the most powerful reversal spell you ever laid eyes on, said to restore everyone who wasn't dead to their original condition, including herself and Patrick. Bobby points out that her giving them this information doesn't make sense. She kind of says she has her reasons, fondling her locket. Patrick is playing an elderly man, Ash. There are 2 kings in the community cards, and we see that Patrick's soul cards are the other 2, a strong hand. Ash has 2 nines. Patrick folds though, calling in a knight and letting Ash win a total of 13 years. When Sam comes up, Patrick tells him that Ash is now going to live to see his granddaughter's bat mitzvah. Sam's so baffled by this apparent altruism, but tells Patrick that he wants to play. Meanwhile, Bobby and Dean are digging up a grave to get the jawbone of a murderer for the spell. Well, Dean's digging and Bobby's watching. Dean whines about his various aches and pains. Bobby tells him that it's sciatica, which is normal with age, and to keep digging, as they don't have a plan B. Dean digs as they insult each other, Bobby calling Dean Grandma, who responds with iron sides. Patrick asks Sam if his big brother knows he's playing, and Sam doesn't answer. It then continues to poke at Sam's little brother status, saying that he's not treated as an equal, but still trying to clean up Dean and Bobby's mess. Leah comes in and distracts Patrick, who asks for a short break. Sam takes a toothpick Patrick had been chewing at and gives it to Dean to be used in the spell, and then returns to the game. Dean and Bobby do the ritual, but nothing happens. Patrick reveals to Sam that the toothpick he took wasn't the right one he had been using, and begins to telekinetically choke Sam. Leah stops him though, and confesses that she gave Sam the spell. Patrick is stunned, but he and Sam return to the game. Sam wins on a poor hand by bluffing, but then Patrick acknowledges his skill, but vindictively reveals that Dean's going to die within the next few minutes. Sam tries to leave, but Patrick again grabs him telekinetically and tells him that the game isn't over till he says it is. Bob and Dean have headed back to Patrick's apartment in search of DNA for the spell, and Dean goes inside. He calls Bob in his cell when he has trouble finding anything suitable for the ritual. Finally, he spots a used wine glass that would work, but collapses before he can reach it. Sam was obviously upset over his brother's plight, and Patrick mocks him about it. Sam then shoves all his chips in, and Patrick mentions his bed and reveals a hand to 2 aces, joined with the committee cards to make a full house. Sam notices Leah's sadness and plays it off as he actually lost, but he trumps with the pocket force and a pair of fours in the committee and cashes the chips in for Dean. Bobby's frantically trying to get Dean to respond to him on his cell phone when Dean suddenly comes back into the apartment building, restored to his proper age. Before Sam leaves, Patrick compliments Sam's prowess at poker and his bluffing skills. Patrick and Leah are alone, and she opens the locket, showing 2 pictures, one of an infant and one of an elderly woman, saying that both are of her deceased daughter and that she misses her family and can't go on, although she does love Patrick. He reluctantly plays for all her chips, and he wins the king and queen of hearts. Patrick gets sweet as he watches Leah age before his eyes. Back at the motel, Bobby expresses disbelief that Sam won, but Sam says that he just got lucky. He heads out to nowhere, but responds to the look that Dean gives him, admits he's going to get a booster shot. Dean apologizes to Bobby for calling him an idiot, and admits that he never stopped complaining if he were in Bobby's situation. He says that Bobby hasn't ceased to be a soldier just because he has been injured on the battlefield. Bobby's family, and he and Sam don't have much of that left. He basically tells Bobby that his presence is required in order for him to carry on, and makes a promise not to talk about checking himself out ever again. Okay then. So anyway, let's take a look at some continuity from this episode. This episode corroborates Joe's statement that Hunter suck at poker, which was said in the Season 2 episode, No Exit. And now let's take a look at some trivia. In this episode, it suggests that Sam is the weakest poker player among Bobby, Dean, and himself, yet he's the only one of them that won. In real life, Jared Padalecki won the 2006 Bodog Fight Celebrity Poker Tournament in Canada. Hal Ozan, who played Patrick in this episode, Co-starred with Jensen Ackles in 6 episodes of the CW series Dawson's Creek. The name of the episode is a reference to a Brad Pitt movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, where a man ages in reverse. Sam reveals Dean's age is 30. Bobby can be seen driving at several points in the episode, driving to the bar Patrick was holding the poker game, as well as driving Sam and Dean while tailing Patrick to his apartment. While it's never stated, it's likely he modified his van to have hand controls off screen. And now let's take a look at an error from this episode. Bobby went to play the poker game to reverse his paralysis, but his condition was caused by the wound he inflicted on himself to kill the demon possessing him, not old age. So the spell will make him look younger, but not heal his wound. And now finally, let's take a look at some culture references. Referencing the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Dean makes reference to the movie The Bucket List. Sam compares the age-changed Emperor Palpatine from the Star Wars franchise. Dean also makes a reference to the movie Titanic. Sam's CC badge is signed R. Bachman, referencing Randy Bachman, lead guitarist, singer, and founder of the legendary Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive. Richard Bachman was also a pseudonym used by author Stephen King. Did not know that. So I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, it's a good thing that Dean didn't stay old forever, so yeah. So overall, I give The Curious Case of Dean Winchester 3 Impalas out of 5. When we tune in this week till next episode, Changing Channels. So, until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.